about scaling your law firm with offshore talent? If so, you cannot miss this next guest. He is the man when it comes to these things. I'm going to bring him onto the virtual stage right after you watch this video. Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Eberline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care. Hey, welcome back. I want to welcome to the stage Brad Stevens, our special guest. Come on up.
Hey, Margarita. Wonderful to see you. Kicking off a wonderful year ahead of us. Excited to jump in.
Yes, you're my first podcast of the year. I'm so excited to have you, especially now that I've constructed my own podcast studio with this fun little wall panel here. But we were chit-chatting.
Work in progress, though. Had the kids out there making it. I did the same thing. I use my kids to help me on these projects.
Yeah. Well, they are on my payroll, so I got to give them work to do.
Heck yeah,
make sure I don't get in trouble with the IRS here. But Brad, tell us about what you do and tell us your story. How'd you get into this? And, give some tips, because this is such a hot topic right now with, law firms that are wanting to scale. How do they do it responsibly with offshore talent? And you're really the go-to person for that. So talk to us.
Well, thanks for having me, and certainly happy to share on this topic. And I'd love to share from an angle that when I talk about this whole world, and I'd never used offshore outsourcing or virtual assistants, and when I always joke around when you say those words, right? I joke around that like there's all these like imaginary word bubbles that pop above everybody's head, right? And they're all different for everybody, right? What about time zones? What about competency? What about skill set? What about English? All these different things. What I call DFCs, doubt, fears, and concerns, sort of around it. And I had all the same ones, when I went down this journey, over 10 years ago, and growing my last business. And so, I'd love to kind of share a whole nother perspective on this that people are just really blown away by, on the competency and the ability, and just kind of address some of those doubt, fears, and concerns I have in the, in the process. But yeah, brief background on myself and kind of how I ended up having a business on the other side of the planet. And we grew to 500 employees in 4.5 years, crazy journey. But yeah, grew up in Atlanta, which, I'm share in common, a testament to putting good content out. Margarita and I have both seen each other on Facebook forever. And we kind of, it's almost like you knew each other. And then we were both at a conference and we saw each other and it's like, oh, finally. And
you could have forgotten what I look like by now, but I'm posting like 5 times a day. So how could you?
No, same here. I mean, it's a testament.
Yeah.
And I think there's an opportunity for us to talk about it overall, but it's been a huge part of our business as well. And just, for you listening, when it comes to content, it's all about, when I speak on this, I have like 2 wheels. There's the nurture wheel, right? And there's the life and business events wheel. And if you can earn the right to be on people's streams with good, educational, entertaining content, right? There will be a life and business event at some point where they will need your services. I mean, we won a national franchise not too long ago that, never seen them post or comment, because it's always the dark social, the people that don't comment or post on things, but they're watching, right? And when they have that need, you are that top of mind place in their head, the go-to resource for that when it came to offshore or virtual assistants and so forth, just like, you're doing. So whether a law firm needs you now or maybe 2 years from now, right, you're earning the right in that headspace, hopefully that they'll be the go-to person. But yeah, no, it was, here in Atlanta, and I grew up, in kind of an entrepreneurial environment, and I always had a whiteboard hanging over the fireplace growing up. So there was always ideas flying around. I was that kid. My first lemonade stand was, anybody remembers, I'm mid 40s here, 46. So like Micro Machines, little tiny toys. So I had like 600 of them. I rented to all my friends in 4th grade and carried them in Crown Royal bags into my little Christian school and rented them to all my friends. And I had a tutoring company business I started in high school. And so anyway, have my typical lemonade stand, crazy entrepreneur journey that most of those kids have that go down that path. And then in college, went up north, went to Harvard, and I transferred down to Wharton Business School and finished. And I thought I was going to do finance, for at least a period of time. I knew entrepreneurship was going to be my path. But, I want to get back down, into Atlanta. I love the warm weather and everything here after college. And, but the investment banking firm I was going to start with ended up going under right before I was supposed to begin with them. And so I had that proverbial fork in the road at, 21, 22 years old. And, so I got my signing bonus and 3 months severance pay and never worked a day for this company. Right. So I was like, man, I'm just going to go find the next failing business and walk away with another 20 grand. Like, I'm just going to Ponzi my way out of ever having to get a real job. But yeah, so I had kind of fork in the road, and I got an apartment in Buckhead, with another guy that was, single, and we were going to, kind of live the life and make investment banking money. But I chose to kind of come back, live with my parents, and start my entrepreneurial journey, and not take some of the other offers I had on the table, and take that money that I'd been given and use that to kind of start it. So actually with an uncle of mine, ended up starting my first company in the pharmaceutical space and helping low-income people qualify for free medications. And so one thing led to another. So over the last 25 years, that business, I've had a nutritional products company. We manufacture and distribute our own nutritional products globally. And then after that, I had a company in the teeth whitening space, of all things. We manufacture and distribute teeth whitening products globally for the beauty industry. And all the attorneys on here, were a big value for me during that whole journey. We navigated all kinds of adventures, through that process. But one of the things that happened is we had one of our products manufactured, changed a component, didn't tell us about it, and basically caused them to explode. So we sent basically 10,000 grenades globally on this one teeth whitening product we had. And cash got tight, and it was a mess. And so that's what forced me to learn about this whole offshoring outsourcing world. I'd read Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week. A lot of people read, I think, God, it's going on 15, 20 years ago. But out of necessity, I had to figure out how to make, ends meet. And so I just became a massive student of where to find people in different parts of the world, what platforms, what were they capable of. And I just unpacked this whole world I wish I'd known my entire entrepreneurial life of. The competency, the ability was just tremendous. So it helped me save that company. And then I decided I wanted to, start a business around it and basically bring the impact and power and affordability of affordable offshore, talent, specifically the Philippines, and I'll share why, to the small to medium business community. And so here we are, and launched in 2019, and we're in 80 plus different industries, and I grew to about 500 people in 4.5 years. And a segment for that is in the legal industry, a big space that we're supporting on the marketing side, the operations side, running their case management platforms like Litify and those kind of platforms. We'll kind of dive into some detail, but yeah, that's kind of the journey that got me here. And to the theme of your show here, the culture we've created and the values we've created for our people in the Philippines. And as I was sharing with you earlier, we even have our own magazine, and the only company in the Philippines that has our own magazine that celebrates our employees, has been a big part of what's allowed us to differentiate ourselves and deliver a great experience for our clients.
That's amazing, because one of the biggest pain points that I've heard and actually experienced myself in experimenting with offshore talent is that they're really not always like quality, like skill set people. And I think the big differentiator is when they come from companies, or when you source them from companies like yours, where you're actually investing in them. Like I've had some, situations where like people were placed in companies, whether mine or my clients, I've just seen this. And they're overworked, they're underpaid, they're not treated well. And meanwhile, the recruiting companies, are making, a decent penny. But then the end user, which is the business using the labor, isn't getting really the max benefit. So it caught my attention how the ecosystem that you've created is about, yes, I'm going to bring you value by bringing you this talent, but I'm also going to invest back in the talent. I think that's amazing. Tell us more about how you do that, because I really think that's key to having a good experience with offshore talent, is like valuing and being people first, people centered.
Certainly. It doesn't make a difference whether you got a company in the US or got a company internationally, or your own family unit, right? It's like, how you treat people, and it's why the cliche, if you will, but very valid, that culture eats strategy for lunch every day, because none of the rest of that matters if you don't have the right people in the right seats and treating them well. And I'm a huge Jim Collins person.
Yeah.
A quick tactical. For anybody that's on here that loves Jim Collins, and he's written a bunch of books, Good to Great and so forth. But a lot of people don't realize on his website, if you go to jimcollins.com and click on concepts, he's taken all the key takeaways from all his books and put it into one thing called the map. And in 20 minutes, he takes 7 books and packs it into all his key takeaways that I think are incredibly timeless. But one of the elements of that, and it's around disciplined people, disciplined thought with disciplined action to be built to last. And the concepts, the hedgehog concept and bullets before cannonballs and so forth. But it starts with disciplined people. And, a component of that is the right people on the bus, and then a mindset of level 5 leadership, right? That he talks about in the book, right? And one of the big differentiators when he talks about, in Good to Great, he studied 1,500 companies, and only 11 he found, regardless of industry, that managed to be successful over time. And part of that was level 5 leadership, right? Is that you're doing something for bigger than yourself, right? There's a lot of great level 4 leaders, but level 5 is the humility side of it, right? And so for me, a big part of our journey, my very first VA that I hired in the very beginning, young woman named Jaysel, crazy enough, 22-year-old, grew up in a dirt village and never had she had one small corporate job before working with me. She was able to become my COO over 500 people in 4.5 years. The drive, the ability to learn, to raise her lid was tremendous. And a couple of months after we started working together, she sent me a picture of these shoes in a village in a circle. And she said, Brad, because of the money I'm making with you, I was able to go buy all these shoes for these children that have to walk an hour and a half of school back and forth to school each day. And about that time, I got a chance to, because of being a part of EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, we've heard of, to speak at the United Nations headquarters and learned about the Sustainable Development Goals, which are all about having economic impact in other countries and everything related to society and humanity. And so I told Jaysel, I said, this is a full circle moment, seeing the impact that you're having, right? It's a win-win for me. I'm getting a great talent with you that's affordable for me. And then you're kind of paying it forward. And so we decided to launch Virtual Assistants Give Back. And so for that moment, every single quarter, we survey our employees. We ask what do they care most about. And we've done everything from planted hundreds of trees to offset carbon emissions to my last trip over there. We helped fund a building to save a pediatric cancer center for 200 children in the Philippines. So it's at the fabric of our values. I can talk about tactical stuff all day long and the things we're doing for our clients, and there's endless, and I can share a bunch of resources and videos and case studies. But for me, it starts with hiring the right people and then treating them well and lifting them up. And that's how we're getting people that are just doing unbelievable work, showcasing them in magazines, caring about their growth and their development, leadership development programs, because that's what translates into sustainable experience. A lot of the negative experiences people have are, like you said, high turnover. Agencies will find you somebody and say, okay, Margarita, good luck. Here's your person, right? But they're not investing in their growth and development. And so it's kind of a two-way street.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this is perfect. Brad, if somebody is listening, they're like, wow, like I want to learn more about how I can work with Brad and his team. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
I'll put in the private chat, just outsourceaccess.com. It's kind of our main website there. And off of there, you can find, if you click on industry there and you drop down, you'll see legal and you see all the different work that we're doing for all kinds of different law firms, from personal injury to corporate law, that we're doing across the board, the different types of work in granular detail. We actually have a 80-page playbook of all the things that we're doing. So if anybody wants to send an email to tools,
I love it.
That's part of what we do. That's part of, again, a differentiator for us is not only do we take care of our people, but we provide strategy. We provide documented playbooks from day one that the client owns, that documents all the processes that we're doing, and provide strategic advisors as well. So it's kind of providing not just an affordable staff, but a comprehensive set of support resources. Happy to share that playbook with everybody. They can get off our website. And if they send an email to tools, TOOLS, tools at outsourceaccess.com, they have to write a message. Just shoot that email at tools@outsourceaccess.com, and just put care sandwich in the subject line where it came from. We'll send out a bunch of resources specifically for the legal audience on all the case studies, all the work, video interviews I've done with our clients, so they can kind of get some more understanding of the detail.
And I know your team can do a lot. What are some of the most popular things that law firms, if they're listening and thinking, hey, part of my new year 2026 strategy is scaling with offshore talent? What are some things that we can put on the radar? Hey there. I hope you're enjoying the conversation and your sandwich as much as we are. I want to take a moment to share a few words about our sponsor, Marketing Boss. If you're a law firm owner looking to supercharge your growth, our team at Marketing Boss is here to help. We've got over a decade of experience and a proven track record, and we specialize in growing law firms like yours with data-driven marketing leadership. So if you own a law firm and you're ready to get a predictable, steady flow of cases from your marketing, let's connect at marketing-boss.com.
Well, a big thing is just managing, and it depends on the type of law firm, that they are. They're dealing with different types of workflow and needs. I mentioned earlier, like Litify, right? It's just one of many software. It's crazy over the 80 industries. We've learned 150 different software platforms. So a lot of what we found ourselves doing for multiple clients and in the legal industry is managing their case management or internal software management. Like personal injury law firms, right? There's a bunch of moving parts. You're having to go back and forth. And as we know, the cash flow and when you get paid from these clients and so forth, you're having to front the costs and kind of navigate through. But all the things you're having to get in terms of aggregating medical records and get information from the clients and so forth. We have one of our staff actually that she, testament to their learning, she actually was a teacher in the Philippines, had a degree in teaching, and had never worked for a law firm or nothing before. Engaged, she ended up working with a very prominent actually law firm here in Atlanta. You see their billboards all over. And she learned Litify so well and so fast that she actually teaches his U.S. employees now how to use Litify to do their case management. I love it. So managing that, then managing leads, advertising and the leads that are coming in and qualifying those. We're managing lead qualification and voice. A lot of people don't believe the voice work in the Philippines. They all speak English, right? And some you would never even know they're in the Philippines. And then marketing management work, managing and supporting like a lot of the direction and strategy you're giving. And at the end of the day, it's about executing, right? It's about the plan and then them executing. We help support and execute those game plans. HR, when they're recruiting and trying to hire more paralegals or internal staff, we're managing and helping with that process. So comprehensive across all dimensions of the business. We understand their needs, have a kind of bespoke process to clarify, and then we find the right talent and we present it to them. And then we work side by side with a granular 90-day integration process to make them be successful and then provide ongoing oversight moving ahead.
I love that because you're right. The strategy is what we do. We stay in that lane. We don't do implementation. And I love that there are companies like yours that we can pull in to have the hands. I call them hands. We need hands. We need doers. And it's amazing, the company culture that you've built. And I really, really applaud you for that. And the story about the shoes, I'm like, wow, I got a little, that's amazing. So Brad, on the show, we always like to talk about at the end of the show, what your favorite sandwich is. So here's your chance. Tell us what your favorite sandwich is. Is it something international?
It is Jersey Mike's for me. It's always been a favorite go-to. maybe, but it's also my sandwich because my son. So I have a 9-year-old daughter and going to be 7-year-old son, 6.5, Braden. And one of his favorite things to do is he loves Jersey Mike's. He loves the turkey and provolone. And one of the things he loves to do is go into Jersey Mike's, and he likes sitting. So I have an F-150 truck, right, with a bed on the back of it. And we go sit on the back of it. And there's a specific field that he wants to go to. And we sit against the back of it and wants to tailgate on Dad's truck with Jersey Mike's. So I love the Club Supreme, which is I always get. He gets the turkey and provolone and salt and vinegar chips. And we sit on the back of Dad's truck and have a sandwich together. And then he loves sports. And so we throw baseballs and footballs and so forth. So it's a sandwich and an experience that kind of have at the same time.
That's so beautiful. That's deep for a little kid. I love that. Yeah, that's great. And truck beds are the best. I have a truck as well. And one of my favorite things to do is to kind of do what I call day glamping when the kids are fishing. Yeah. And I'm just kind of in the truck bed, just chilling, having some alone time in nature. Oh man, they're the best. I can't wait for summer. Oh, it's too cold for that now. But anyway,
kids just love the outdoor adventure, so love getting them out more than ever.
So this has been great, and there you have it, folks. If you want to get more information on how to work with Brad Stevens and his team, if you're a law firm looking to scale in 2026 with Offshore Talent. He's got playbooks for you. He's got resources for you. Start there and definitely investigate some more when you have a chance to connect with Brad and his team and let us know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Care Sandwich. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.